Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to all my 4x3 students. As for today, I'm going to show you a little bit of review of your work that you have done, especially your writing work on SPM Practice 1. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to review your writing, and also I'm going to point out the things that need to be improved in order for you to be able to write better next time. Okay, so the focus for today will be on article, film review, and also story. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's look at the presentation. Like I've mentioned just now, okay, we are going to focus on article, on the right way of writing article, and then we are going to talk about film review, okay, and how a film review should be. And number 3, we are going to talk about story. I chose this subtopic of how to untangle the question for a reason, and I will explain that later when we discuss the story, okay, the story question. Okay, let's look at the first one, article, okay, the right way of writing article. Okay, when we are looking at this article, okay, what do you think is the problem with this article? Anyone? Right. Okay, article. The first thing that you need to have is a title. Okay, so for this writing, there is no title. Okay. All right. So for writing an article, you need to have a title. Okay, so let's read the sample script here. Okay. One of my favorite tourist attractions is Legoland, Malaysia, located at Johor Bahru, Johor. Okay, I have visited Legoland several times, and every time I go there, the attraction never gets me bored. Okay, it is a very amusing place. The last time I went there was 2 years ago, and on that occasion, they added a new ride, which is Lego Ninjago the ride. The ride is included with 3D glasses because it is a 3D ride and it feels real. Other than that, Legoland Malaysia also provides many more wonderful attractions and rides. It also has a tiny replica of Capitol from various countries made out of Lego. Other than that, it has a Star Wars attraction. Okay, at the Star Wars attraction, you will see the structure of scenes from the first movie of Star Wars to the latest one, and I think it will be satisfactory for Star Wars fans. One of the best rides that tourists will go to Legoland is the Dragon. The Dragon is a roller coaster designed to imitate a dragon. The roller coaster is very fast and has many loops. It is very thrilling when you get on the ride. For me, my favorite ride is Project X. It is also a roller coaster, but it is a bit more chill than the Dragon. It has a high climax part and a very long falling action parts. From all statements that are given, Legoland Malaysia is a very fascinating place to pay a visit. Okay, so when looking at this sample of writing, first of all, like I've mentioned just now, you need to write an interesting title lah. Okay, it has to be interesting. Okay. Okay. What else that's quite wrong with this write-up? Okay, before we go deeper with the grammar and such. Okay. Although the content is quite good, the issue that I have with this sample is that it doesn't have any paragraphs. Okay, where are the paragraphs? Okay, so when you are writing an article, of course you need to have title, you need to have paragraphs in order for your reader to be able to follow your train of thoughts or your flow of ideas. Okay, but there are a few good things about this write-up. Is that the first thing that this candidate do is that they use the adjectives. Okay, when you are trying to describe a place, okay, you need to use a good adjective, and amusing is quite a good adjective there. Okay. Also, if you can see there, there's also a description of the best rides that you could find on Legoland. Okay, so when you've mentioned the best rides and such, it shows that you're using your judgment, and it could answer the whole question of why. Why is this place that you want to talk about? Okay, so again, paragraphs play a very important role. If I've got a question or a sample script like this, it's very difficult for me to follow, and for this matter, it's very difficult for you to get a good mark. Okay, for this kind of writing, okay, this candidate is going to be awarded content because it's mentioned all of them there. Content is 5 CA because I'm troubled by the fact that there's no paragraphs. I can only give 3. Organization, again, without proper paragraph, I could penalize you up until 2, and language is 4. Okay, so in total, this candidate will get 8, 10, 14, which is a shame because this is quite a good, this candidate have quite a good command of language. Okay, so if this candidate choose to be more careful and then write the paragraphs, he or she may get better marks than 14. Okay, let's look at the next example. Okay, let's look at it together. Okay, favorite tourist attraction in Malaysia. Okay, visitors who have been or staying in Malaysia can't deny that it was such a good choice to come here, since Malaysia offers many captivating and enchanting destinations, including the one I visited myself. Okay, in 2018, about a year ago, on a school holiday, my family and I traveled to some of Malaysia's top spots of attraction, and one place that caught my attention was Cameron Highlands. I'm quite sure many of you have heard of this place before, but for me, that was my first time to reach there, and inadvertently, I have fallen in love with this place. First of all, I'm into the green scenery when we first drove into Cameron Highlands, and also when we returned from it, as the road is indeed surrounded by tall and faintly green trees with the view of crystal clear sky blue above, perfect for nature lover. Secondly, it has great number of top tourist attractions that are available, such as Butterfly Farm, Thompson Falls, and significantly more. Even so, those who wants to come there must not miss at least 2 places, namely both Tea Plantation and Strawberry Farm, as these 2 places are more likely to be seen as landmarks for tourists, as they are found only there. There are many eye-catching places to explore in Cameron Highlands, which is a great place for both domestic and international tourists as well. Okay, to visit. Hence, if you haven't visited Cameron Highlands yet, why don't you take advantage of the school holiday this month and enjoy yourself? Okay, so this is, I can say that although we can find quite a few hiccups or first draft slips along the way, this is quite a good example. Okay, the first thing that this candidate done right is the paragraph. Okay, the first thing that the candidate done right is the paragraph. Okay, secondly, as you can see, there are a very good paragraph here. Okay, you can see paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4. Also, the use of quite clear adjectives, like for example, abundance of adjectives, captivating, enchanting, and then faintly green trees with the view of crystal clear sky, crystal clear blue sky. Okay, so it is quite a good write-up for this one. Okay, so even at the end of the writing, this person basically gives like a quick recommendation. Okay, here, a quick recommendation. Why don't you take advantage of the school holiday this month and enjoy yourself? Okay, so for this type of writing, okay, of course, content you can get a 5. Communicative achievement, you can get a 4. Organization is 4, and language is 4. Okay, so total 9 plus 8 will be 17. Okay, all right. So that is article. All right, let's look at the next part of writing. Okay, a film review. Okay, again, what's missing here is that where's the catchy title? Okay, when you are writing a film review, you need to have a catchy title. Means that a title that can grab readers' attention. Okay. All right. Let's look at the first paragraph. Okay. Let's go paragraph by paragraph. Okay. We must have been busy with our daily lives since we have a lot of things to do, even if we are children or adults. Sometimes we need to take a break from our hustling and bustling of city life by taking a day off and just enjoy some movies. Okay, if you're an action movie lover, I would like to suggest you to watch Rambo movie series. For me, it is exciting and motivating. Okay, so what's the problem with the first one here? Although this could be appropriate as an introduction, the first paragraph has to talk about the background of the the background of the movie. So meaning to say you're talking about wait let me change. Okay. You need to talk about perhaps the cast or perhaps the director. You do not need to know all of that for the first paragraph, but it is important that you can present the background of the movie in the first paragraph. Okay, let's look at the next paragraph. Even though it is all old movies from the 1980s, it is still good to watch. Okay, the film stars Sylvester Stallone, who plays the main character or protagonist, which is John Rambo. Okay, so should be in your first paragraph. You are introducing who is Rambo. Okay, this is first paragraph. Okay, next. John is a Vietnam War veteran soldier and a Special Forces Green Beret decorated with the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he is a war hero. Okay, and then blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is what we call a plot. And okay, this is correct. Okay, plot can be here. Okay, you need to have like a quick review of what the movie is about. Okay, the things I love most is always prioritize his family, and he would take vengeance for his deceased granddaughter. Okay, so this one could be the lesson, and this is a correct one. Okay, so when you're explaining plot, you need to have a lesson. But what's missing in this second paragraph is that you need to have what we call highlights. Okay, highlights means in any movie there must be a part that you think that is worth noting or is worth describing about, and what exactly makes you think it's a highlight. Okay, so you can add that in your second paragraph, and then for your third paragraph, okay, I would suggest you to watch this movie because it is exciting and inspiring. You can see that he would do anything to achieve victory, even though it will risk its own life. You can enjoy this movie with your family and friends. Okay, so for this one, this is correct. Okay, this is okay. Okay, so you need to have a recommendation at the end of the review. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next one, the next sample. Okay. So this is what we call quite a good sample. Okay, so let me just point it out what's good about it. Okay, so the first one is it has a catchy title. Okay. Right, the next one. Okay, let's look at the review. When I think about war films, it is hard to imagine that they would have deep storytelling. Okay, it will have to be something incredibly special for me to remember it. The movie Hacksaw Ridge has certainly blown my doubts away and made it to the top of my favorite movie list. Okay, if you can see that instead of talking about the background, you can also talk about what's quite special about the movie. Okay, so in this case, it's the storytelling lah. Okay, so let's look at the next paragraph. Okay, what makes this movie memorable for me is how it tells a true, compelling story set during the World War II. The hero of the movie is based on a man named Desmond T. Doss, who refused to kill anyone, even carry a firearm. He almost failed his army training because he objected to obeying orders of his superiors to perform firearm drills. Okay, overcoming various obstacles, he ultimately got to perform his duty in the Battle of War at Hacksaw Ridge. Okay, so this one is a plot. Okay, right. The movie shows Doss' arduous feat of single-handedly saving more than 75 of his fellow soldiers' lives as an army medic, all done without even holding a single weapon throughout. Okay, it is truly one of the bravest human feats performed by a single determined individual ever recorded in history. So this one is the highlight, and with a touch of a lesson as well. And lesson. Okay. There is no denying that some of the war scenes are brutal and bloody. They are not for the faint of heart. Speaking of the performance, the film features an admirable hit performance from Andrew Garfield, an excellent effort from the supporting cast that includes Hugo Weaving and Teresa Palmer. I would recommend everyone who loves war movies with depth of characters to watch it. Okay, so this one is, they talk about a little bit of the background, like who's the cast. So when you are writing your film review, make sure that you have all these elements. Okay, you cannot run away from background because you're talking about a film, and normally when you are having a film, you need all these cast, director, and they have to be mentioned somewhere in your movie review. And lastly, of course, the recommendation. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next slide. Now we're at the last part of the review of your work. So we are focusing on a story. Okay, the story means that you need to answer the most important lesson I learned from others. The first one is a description of the situation that depicts the situation and what the lesson is. Okay, I think that when I mark this essay, I think that most of you actually misinterpret the question. Okay, most of you actually did not tell me a story of what makes this person or this situation that caused you to have a lesson. You basically just tell me what was the lesson and what was the incident that comes with it, but no what we call no analytical, no analysis of how the incident helped you to learn something. Okay, it's quite frustrating because it has to be a one coherent and well-flowed story rather than you telling me what was going on and then that's it and leave it that way, which is wrong. Okay, let's look at one of the sample script here. When talking about time management, I always fail to make plans for my study. I keep being distracted with social media, like watching YouTube videos whenever I want to study. Lately, I think that this kind of habit will produce poor results in my final year exam. Okay, last night I had a video call with my friend Hafiz. We spent a lot of time talking about how we spend our time during lockdown at home. I told him that I need some kind of motivation to motivate myself to study. He said to organize my time wisely. He advised me to sort out different things like study and play video games so that I can have a vision about things that I must do in a day. The other thing that Hafiz told me was he doesn't multitask every time when doing homework. He told me that sometimes it is better to focus on only one thing at a time. This will lead to high performance when doing a task. Last but not least, he advised me to focus during online classes. Online classes should be beneficial with studying subjects the teacher taught. Okay, this will help more to understand the new topics that we learn. In conclusion, I think that the most important factor is ourselves. Okay, we should improve our daily life routines as this will produce better decision making in things that we must do. Improving now is better than lamenting for later. Okay, so The problem with this whole writing is that it did not tell me a story. It's just you consulting a friend and your friend is giving you an advice. When in actual fact, you need to actually write a whole story about this one particular incident that tells you a lesson, that teach you a lesson. Okay, so this is not a story. So the problem with this is that you are going to get, for this one, this is not a story. So your content is down to 3, your communicative achievement down to 3, your organization is also down to 3, and language is 3. So you can get only a total of 12 marks for your part 3, which is a shame because that should not be the kind of marks that you get for part 3. I hope I'm being clear. If I'm not, you can always ask me on the Telegram group what kind of story that I'm expecting from you. But I think that it's quite self-explanatory when the question asks you to, okay, a description, only one description, a description of the situation, kan, that depicts the lesson. And even the question wants you to talk about the most important lesson. The most means only one. Only one lesson. So if you say that you perhaps in that story you perhaps help this one lady, one old lady from crossing the street, and it reminded you how you need to be kind and stuff like that, it only has to be one lesson, and the whole story has to sound like the whole story, meaning that it has to have opening, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Okay, I'm quite surprised that you didn't manage to answer. I mean, that most of you think that this is the easiest, but this is where they trick you a lot, okay, when it comes to writing a story. Okay, so this is how a story should look like, okay, for that question lah. Okay, I'm going back to school. Now, that wouldn't be a surprising thing to hear from someone who is in their mid-20s or at most late 30s. Okay, imagine how far my eyebrows raised when the words came out from my grandmother's mouth during our video call. I shouldn't have been shocked, however. Okay, my grandfather was never one to play by the rules or norm. He switched jobs and entered a new field at 47 years old, something no sane adult would do so far along in their stable career. One might call it a risky move, but not him. Everyone thought he was crazy for doing it, but I'm pretty sure that most of us secretly wish we were as bold as he is. Coming back to my grandfather's declaration, he went on to pursue a 4-year bachelor's degree and then a master's degree in business. He finished all this while he was, in his words, 60 years young. What an inspiration to be able to pursue an education at such an advanced age. Watching his accomplishments, I had a light bulb moment. My grandfather has always done things at his own time instead of the deadlines set by societal expectations that are deemed normal. Get a degree by 21, buy a house and a car by 30, get married, have a family, and be comfortable settled down by 40. Everything is a race against time, but I have learned I should just do things at my own pace. See how this writer used all his story about his grandfather, who's not playing by the rules, managed to cause him to learn a lesson. So when you are writing a story for this kind of essay, make sure that paragraph 1, 2, 3 is about the story itself that you are telling the reader. And the last paragraph is how. How does this story teaches you something? Okay? I hope I'm being very clear. Okay, I think that's all for our explanation, my explanation for your work the other day. Make sure that you bear that in mind when you are writing, especially the story in your future tasks. Okay, for today's task, I want you to, okay, let me just open your Google Classroom. Okay. Okay, let's look at the work that you need to do for today. Okay, today is going to be quite easy. You're going to you're going to write a part 1 because we did part 2 and part 3 the other day, so it's just going to be part 1 today. Okay, so you're going to write, let me enlarge it a bit. Okay, you're going to write, you received an email from your cousin Johan who is in Form 5 this year. Okay, I'm excited to study at university next year. I'm sure you are too. Okay, so the question asks you to suggest which university should I go to and what course should I take. So which university, what course should your cousin take, and who should I talk to for advice. So 3 elements must be there for you to get a perfect score of 20. Okay, and it's not just 3 elements of touching and going lah. It has to be further elaborated and explained. Okay, I hope that clears things up. Please finish your task by 1 o'clock and submit them using Google Classroom. I know that some of you like to use testpad and then screenshot them to me. Please do not do that. Can you please submit your work using your Google Doc on the Google Classroom? And if you don't know how to do it, ask your friends, your classmates. They have been doing this since last year. Okay, so please do so that it'll be easier for me to mark your work. Okay, class, I think that's all for today. Thank you.